currently reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and this leadership philosophy that I'm introduced, I've seen it in multiple places. I've seen it with Carol S. Dweck's The Growth Mindset. I've seen it with The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. I've seen it in multiple places. David and Goliath, The Art of Possibility by Benjamin Rosamund Zander, and now The Power of Now. This is some really deep and essential truths here. So The Art of Possibility talks about this dichotomy that we have between the central and the calculating self. Power of Now talks about the conflict between the mind and our consciousness. And our consciousness is our being. It's our ability to understand that we are ourselves. We're stardust. If all rivers lead to the ocean, then all central philosophies have a different wrapper with the same timeless truth. The classic example is like a bottle of water. The water, the essence never changes, but the outside of the bottle actually does change. A bunch of cultures that all realize the same truth, but the wrapping is different because their values and the way that they express that is different. In The Power of Now, they talk about using your mind as a tool. Your mind is not your consciousness. You are not your thoughts. You are not your body. You're not anything in the physical world. You're actually part of something greater than that, because your being doesn't emanate from physical form. It's past your mind. That's what enables you to realize that you have a mind. Calculating self is your mind. It wants you to survive. It wants you to compare to everything else. Attach your identity to things and labels. It wants to label. It wants to judge. It wants to blame. Take control. Those are your thoughts. I don't know if your being can do that. Because your mind wants to separate and judge and understand everything, there's so much that your mind can't understand, because we only have so much limited senses in the physical world, in the manifested world. Our mind can't understand everything, but it wants to. But you can't use your mind to understand consciousness yet, because we don't fully understand where it comes from or how it happens. And that's the calculating self. Now, I don't know if you agree on this. Human development, life basically, is an ongoing reconstruction of the calculating self to the risk-free, compassionate, expressive world of the central self, your being. You're no longer attaching yourself to anything in the physical world as your identity. When we start off in life, we start off as a baby, right? We need to survive, we need to fit in, we need to get food. You start off as a take note of me kind of person when you're little, because you need that mind, you need that tool to survive when you're so young, because you're so helpless. But as you get older, you start to realize that cooperation and synergy and the central self is much more reliable path. This is my fear. If you associate yourself with your mind long enough, even when you begin to be more conscious of your thoughts and what you think of, there is no turning back. Well, there probably is, but it's very difficult. It takes a lot of effort and probably a lot of pain and suffering to disassociate yourself. There are people that are stuck in the calculating self phase, and they have no idea, because it's beyond their understanding and their awareness. It's like the David Foster Wallace analogy, fish in water. You're so accustomed to what you're swimming in, you have no idea what is happening. Calculating self gets a grip on you, just as your mind gets a grip on you, just as the bottom edge of the slight edge gets a grip on you, and just as the fixed mindset gets a grip on you. If it gets a grip on you long enough, it's very difficult to break free of it. It's possible, but not likely. And regarding interest, the calculating self is always interested in itself, always interested in satisfying its own demands. Its outlook on life is about scarcity, it's about competition, it's about comparing, it's about judging, criticizing, condemning, complaining. People that are the central self, it looks like they know past survival, the survival mentality. We smile at the worries of the calculating self, and we know that belonging and being insufficient are as native to us as sort of the illusory attempts our minds try to put on us, that we don't belong, we don't fit in. But we do. See, it's that external identity. When you attach yourself to some perceived idea of who somebody should be or who you should be, you start to identify with that, and that pulls you away from who you truly are. I mean, this is what you say to the calculating self. You say, don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. We can't satisfy the demands of the calculating self, just as we can't satisfy the demands of only using our mind. Mind is a great servant, but a terrible master. And I think that is at the heart of what we're talking about. You are intensely in the present moment to a point where you feel like you're a part of something greater. You're not using your mind, you're just being aware. We can't understand this with our mind, we can only be aware and present of it. You are not your thoughts, right? The mind is a stage, and these thoughts keep coming and coming. And the more we encourage them, the more that they manifest in the physical world. Because a thought isn't something that's physical, it's unmanifested, it's our mind creates it. That's why the brain's a tool. Nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the power of God. When I die, my consciousness, my atoms, goes to something else with consciousness, some degree of it. Even plants have some degree of consciousness here, and then it just recycles. What do you guys think? What do you think about all this? What ideas are conjuring up in your mind? What is your calculating self telling you, and what is your central self telling you? Are you in a central self phase? Are you in a calculating self phase? Are you against everything I'm saying? Am I offending you? I hope I'm not. I'm just spreading ideas and awareness about the power of now and the present moment and being. It's so fascinating. I don't know why more people aren't interested in it. Whether it's the lizard brain or the mind or the calculating self or the fixed mindset, they're all pointing toward the same central core truth, it feels like. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be out of my mind thinking about this, but it feels right. It feels interesting. And it really makes a lot of sense to me. My mind isn't understanding it. There's something about my being that's attracted to it. Just my crazy thoughts. Like Ferris Bueller says, if you don't take a minute to just stop and look around you, you're going to miss what's going on. New end slate! I've put planet Earth on here because it's really important, it's really special, and this is where we are and where we belong. And really, we all belong to it. Whether our mind rules us or not, we're all stardust, and we all belong to it. We all belong to the universe. So, yeah, those are my thoughts for both my channel and for Project Chronicle, if you'd like to check them out. Thank you for watching and sharing some of your virtual presence with me, your present time. Keep creating an awesome self. Keep listening to your being. Don't let your mind master you. And TFTBA.